welcome back to my channel. It's been a minute. Happy New Year, happy January, happy almost year of the fire horse. I'm very excited about that as an Aries. I'm ready for this movement that 2026 is promising. It's a 1 year. It's actually a 10-year that reduces down to a 1 year. So what does that mean? It means that it's a year of beginning again. It's also a year, it's a Wheel of Fortune / magician, and there's even kind of an overtone of the sun in tarot. They all reduce down to 1 in the major arcana. So we have that joyful, abundant, fulfilling promise of a new cycle that's rooted in our capacity to step into our mastery and alchemize everything that we have moved through, experienced, shed in the snake year, all of those things into a new spark. And it's encouraging us to dream bigger than ourselves as we move more into community in the next, starting now, but in the next few years in particular. So if you're still feeling a bit in a liminal space beyond just that week outside of time between Christmas and New Year's, that's normal. That's okay. We are being encouraged to still utilize that hermit energy, that energy of completion. I say this all the time, I'm not an astrologer, but there is Saturn and Neptune, I believe, are still in Pisces, and then in February they're going to make their move into Aries. So we are being gifted this opportunity of staying in this kind of liminal space to really clarify and get to the core of what we want. Like, Pisces is the dreamer. It's everything that's like amorphous. It's in the ethers, and there's a safety to that, right? Like when you covet from afar, or you just dream it and it's out there and it's amazing, and reality doesn't like cloud that up for you. So this energy is asking us in January very much to organize, to recalibrate, to reassess, to prioritize, to make lists and plans, and not so much resolutions, but intentions for what you are aching to bring forth. And these are going to be the bigger dreams, the dreams that you maybe thought were over, that oh, it's too late now, or oh, that's bigger than me. It's actually not. This is the time that we're meant to begin stepping into them, because when Aries does move into Aries, when Saturn and Neptune move into Aries, it's time for this. It's time to roll up our sleeves. It's cold, so I'm putting them back down. It's time to roll up our sleeves and get to work, get into the grounded practice of what it means to root the dream into fertile soil, and with space, all that clearing, all that shedding, not just of the past year or even the past 9 years, or even, the past, for me, it feels a lot like the past 25 years, if I'm being honest. But also mixed in with that is that it's multitudes of lifetimes of soul experiences. As new mastery comes online, we have to shed the skins in which we gained that mastery, so that it can come to settle and rest and integrate and alchemize in this now lens of experience and expression. So we're collapsing timelines, and not because we want to get rid of or push away or cut cords or anything like that. It's about extracting the marrow, and then it's like that pushing in. I think it was in November, it was very much like a pushing in to release from into your own liberation. So it's like a gentle final lean in so that you can extract that marrow, integrate it in, and that act as an act of love and gratitude and acceptance, without the guilt, without the shame, without the regret. That is actually the act that dissolves the vessel in which these gifts came, and there are gifts in every single vessel. So yeah, it's this is a big year, and inside of big change, it's like we have to change, right? We can't move into a change that we're insisting, oh, this is always this is the way I always do things, or this is, you know, the way I've always been seen. This is a chance to really recalibrate and put on a new pair of shoes and pull out that sparkly pair of pants that you thought was only maybe for New Year's Eve, but maybe it's just for Monday. You know, it's time to rethink, and just start small. Any little thing that you can do that shifts the energy, changing out your placemats, you know, getting a new bath mat. Those of you who watched last month, remember that I brought my sidebar. Remember that I brought my outside plants inside, and there was a bit of a fungus gnat problem. I know, not the most exciting or romantic or joyful thing, but we're coming to the end of them. I've been doing a hydrogen peroxide and water kind of thing to water them with once a month, and it seems to have, along with those horrifying sticky things that you put in there, seems to have done the trick, but there are a few stragglers. So if you see me doing like it's actually not light language, it's get the gnat out of my face so I don't accidentally swallow it. Okay, so let's get to, this is going to be the energy forecast. And it's interesting, those of you who, I do yearly wheels of energy for clients. And what I've been noticing is it's not really, it gets foggy after June. So it's like the cards will give you, they will give you an accurate arc for the first 6 months. Beyond that, because we're still in this energy, which is very much a closing energy, the following 6 months seem to be getting a little foggy, and not in that the cards aren't accurately showing how the unfolding is happening, but it's showing the unfolding through like two lenses. It's like the lens of your now, inside of the energy of what we're moving into, but it's like they're two, and there's a convergence point that will happen once we get through the first part of the year with the eclipses and all those planets moving into Aries and Jupiter shifting. So there's all of these things that go follow your favorite astrologer, because there's lots of stuff going on this year, and some dates you might want to circle. So it's tough to get that rollout in a way that doesn't feel like, that doesn't make sense with what you just showed me for the first 6 months. It seems like a flip side, and I suspect that there's like, it's not a linear circle, it's more kind of a spherical thing. So yeah, we're gonna do January, knowing that we are still in this this process of transition, and find out how we can just get better organized and get motivated. And it is winter, so there's like this push-pull between, hey, I just want to put on a cozy something and nestle into the couch and watch Hallmark movies until it gets warm again. But that's not really going to be helpful either. It will be in spots, you know, in periods. But there needs to be kind of like an active inner doing, so that when it is time to really, when the energy shifts, and it will shift, and it'll be like, whoa, you're on solid footing, instead of having to scramble to do the prioritizing, the reorganizing, the decluttering, the making space. We want to make that space now. So that is our doing. All right, I'm using the Enchanted Map cards today. They are truth tellers, whether you're ready or not for they tend to tell it. So I'm just going to get kind of 4 themes for the month to line up with the weeks, and then we'll pull some tarot cards to help give us a path through those. So 2. Oh, see, they're truth tellers. It's pretty amazing, actually. So let me just put these literally anywhere. I needed to leave the other little table there, and it's over there. So the first week we have magic prayer. And again, it looks like this right side up. These cards are beautiful, but it's upside down. It's in protection. So the first week going in, it's a 32. It's a 5. So we're in process of change. And the way to do it is it's like you want to wish for what you want, not lament what isn't there. You know what I mean? It's a fine line, like, oh, I want this thing, it isn't here yet. Or this thing isn't here, so I can't. Like, both are saying the same thing. Like, there's something here that I really, really want, and it's not yet here. But one side of that knows that it's here in the etheric realm. All we have to do is lock into it as a frequency, as an intention, and put our attention to it. And what's funny is I'm going to cut right to the second week is intention, 22. Which is a master number, and it's a 4 as well. So the second week we will start to root in. And it's the owl, the eggs. Eggs are like, what's in there? What are we doing? What are we cooking? What's the dream? You know? And the owl is saying, listen, be discerning. Like, see through. Sometimes when we dream too, a dream is in and of itself an illusion, and it's up to us to bring it to life or stick the finger in the puff of smoke and reveal the truth behind it. So the owl is saying you wanna really discern for yourself what are the dreams that have legs with that 4 energy. What are the dreams that have legs? That's where your focus will be best served. That's where the prioritization will be really helpful. And then again, that magic prayer, as we weaving into that, is start to get clear on them. And it feels like to me that is kind of like the 9 of Cups in tarot, like, but reversed, when you're focusing on your fears instead of your wishes. So the first week in January can have you thinking, oh my God, it can't be more of the same. Like, I can't keep doing this. This is crazy. But if you don't make the choice to do something different, then you're going to call your fears directly to you. And so the first way to move out of that energy is with that intention of, no, actually there's stuff I want to do, and we have a year where the energy really, really supports big change, brand new starts, and big dreams starting to show us signs of life. But in order to do that, we have to shed any thought, belief, pattern, habit, routine, identity that does not serve where you are headed. We have to be willing to let go of anything that's holding us back, in any way that we see ourselves, that we've been seen by others, any ways we've contorted to be like, yeah, well, to them, I'm the girl that no. Authentic truth. This is what we're aiming for now. This is what magnetizes the right support, the right help, the right energy to start taking what is in that illusory form and start to give it a little weight. And that weight helps to bring it down to earth. Moving into the third week is coming apart, which is a 46, which is a 10, which is a 1. So as we get into kind of that would be the new moon in Capricorn. Capricorn isn't afraid of hard work. It's an earth sign, and we have a lot of Capricorn energy across the board, not just in the sun sign right now. So again, follow your favorite astrologer. I'm not one. I dabble, I listen, I'm intrigued, and it tends to line up with the energetics that I channel through. So I enjoy that interplay. And remember, it's a blueprint. It's a map. They're not predictions. None of this is predictions. This is like, hey, this is kind of what's doing, and here's how you can use it to your benefit, which, you know, is always for the benefit of the whole and vice versa. You do for the highest and best good of all, you're including yourself in that, and you do for your own highest and best good, and that is for the highest and best good of all. So that's an important reciprocity to hold at your center this month, because the old is going to come apart. That which doesn't work is not going to have any legs to stand on once you start setting those intentions and making those choices and developing those new habits. And it's those things are going to come in as these kind of discordant tones in an otherwise beautiful chord, and it's going to make your vibrational field go what is you know. So you have to be willing again to let it go, let it come apart. Did I show you the coming apart? I think I did I? You have to be willing to split it. It's almost too like duality itself. It's not either or, it's both and. You can both be still inside of some old energy that you're shedding and shaking loose, and also setting your first feet into a new beginning. And that is part of what feels uncomfortable, but it's like, lean into the discomfort, because we're headed for a couple of years where when you're in this kind of massive change, whether it's personal or collective, and it is very much collective now, the sooner you can get comfortable with things not being comfortable, you'll be more comfortable. Because this life is a paradox. So once you kind of embrace it, and again, it's a magician year, so we're alchemizing it, right? It's okay. This is what I have, and I'm using what I have. Oh, that's a little weird. How can I make my best inside of this? And again, we're going back to your intentions and what you're feeding them, whether it's your fears or whether it's your curiosity. And again, we've talked about it before, curiosity is the gateway out of fear. If you're not ready for just love and joy, if those are too big, it's too big of a leap for you, get curious. Oh, what is this? I found myself doing that over the past few months, like, oh, what is that? Oh, isn't that interesting? And then it takes what you're looking at that otherwise would make you go, nope, I want to push that away. It helps you push in so that you can release from. And then that is what really dissolves it out in a way that creates space for this new energy to root. Because at the end of the month, after we come apart, we come to life. And that's a 29. It's an 11, which is a master number, and we are very much stepping into our mastery. Like I was saying earlier, this is about gathering all of the intel from the life and lives lived to this point, to this now moment, in a way where you're able to integrate in. And it doesn't mean you have to have like all your tabs open all at once, because that would be overwhelming. But you're collapsing them into this zip file that goes in to your own nexus, your blueprint, whatever it is that you want to call it, and it's accessible to you at any time to unfold, to go in and grab. The frequencies are there, and when they are appropriate and necessary and in alignment, a harmonic for what it is that you're creating, they just come online because they are online. But in order for this human vessel not to get overwhelmed, it's important that you just accept that push, that release, that open. You bring it in, and it's integrated in as a collective of its own, that you can. It's like they show me like this little glitter ball, like sort of like a disco ball, where they're like different facets, and depending on how you turn it, you see different things, or something will sparkle. And that's, you know, a nice soft way to really step into these higher frequencies in a very integratable and practically applicable way, because we're very much meant to be embodied here. It's not about how fast can we ascend into, you know, light body form. What's the fun in that? You know, we're here now to be embodied and see, you know, how much we can expand and stretch that concept, that model, that original intention that has already shifted and grown and evolved far beyond its originally thought capacity. You know what I mean? So coming to life by the end of the month, which makes sense because again, in February, we're getting into that Lunar New Year. We're have all those Saturn, Pisces, they all move into Aries mid-month. We have a new moon, lunar eclipse. I think Deborah Silverman was saying it's like double Aries, double Aquarian energy at that time, which is very expansive, very future and forward thinking. Yeah, it's an exciting time, but it can feel overwhelming. I know sometimes even for me, I'm like, man, how am I? This is what has become most helpful for me. I will sometimes be like, how am I possibly going to do that? And then I have to remember, because I'm not. It's a we. We're moving out of me and into we. Like my post at the end of the year was about the age of the guru, the channeled message that came through. The age of the guru is over. It isn't one, it's the one. So we move into this community, this power of co-creation. When you come together, the shared intention, the wings are so much more expansive, so much more powerful when it's a shared venture, as opposed to one person trying to lift this massive boulder that was always meant to be like, you know, a group effort. But in order to feel safe and to be in these groups, we kind of have to come apart from that I feel like it's the lack thing, like there isn't enough, I better get mine, or I can't trust anybody, and look at the state of the world, or look at what's happened to me before. None of that actually matters right now. It matters in that it was an experience, but we're looking for the gifts within that experience, not the wounds. We're rising above the wounds, looking back through a healed lens. And healed doesn't mean perfect, like it never existed. Healed, it's more like that Japanese art of filling in the cracks with gold. There's an alchemization, there's an evolution there that understands that kind of pathway, the journey, the trail that all of those cracks leave when filled with gold, when filled with the light of your own acceptance and your own unconditional love and gratitude for your soul, knowing exactly what it needed in order to really burst forth into full spectrum light in this here and this now. That is truly where the magic is. So we take the wounds and it's just like, I'm rambling now, but hey, it's the first post of the year. I was thinking today about the concept of aging and how, we're resisting aging. How do we recapture youth? But what if we stopped trying to recapture youth? What if we embraced, instead of aging as a decomposition thing, what if it was an evolution into elevated expansion, an embodiment of this soul mastery? What if we saw it as a privilege and a gift and learned how to care for these vessels from the inside out and nourish in truth what it needs for every stage of its evolution, in a way where that youthful energy and that youthful glow would simply be a byproduct of the love you have, the unconditional love you have for yourself at every stage. And believe me, I've been learning a lot about that through perimenopause. You're like, what is this body today? Who is this body? I can't see anything. That's been a weird one. How my eyesight, I've just accepted there is no prescription right now that's going to work 100%. So you get used to seeing from within. Doesn't work so well for driving, but I try not to drive at night so much for right now. All right, let's get our pathway through these weeks. We'll start with magic prayer. How do we learn to speak well of ourselves and of our dreams? And this isn't, we're not talking about spiritually bypassing either. We're talking about, like, you know, reality doesn't have to be bad, but that's what we've been conditioned to believe. Well, you have to, this is the real world, and you have to get real and be an adult and be a grown-up. But it's like, reality is whatever you create in the moment. So how do we create from a place of curiosity and fun and joy and excitement? Imagine what you could create if you were excited by it. And then how do we get clear on those intentions? How do we allow what no longer works to come apart? How do we embrace that as a gift, as an opening for the new life that wants to rise up? They showed me an image of the fire horse was rising up out of the coils of the wood snake, which was really cool. And that is what we are in process of now for January and a good portion of February. All right, let's get to these little pathways. All right, we have you. Interesting. And these are the granny, we call them the granny cards. And at the bottom of this beautiful Four of Wands, which I'm going to leave face up because it feels like that's the picture we're headed to. But these cards were the ones that I ended up getting. They were Louis, my partner, his grandmom's. And you can see it's got like her little notes, her astrology markings. It's a deck that's been around for a long time. All right, where am I putting you? Right there. Okay, so the pathway, the magic prayer pathway, the card that shows up first is the devil, which makes sense when you're in this kind of like, oh no, I'm not sure, I don't know, what if, the bad what ifs kind of. Right behind him is the Seven of Pentacles, and then the moon upside down. So within that cycle, which is very much like a mental cycle, the devil upside down, the helpful energy is to just release the fears. And it sounds simplistic, but you just release them. And if they come up again, you kind of go like, play a little game. Again, we are the creators, we are the magicians. So you kind of have to go like, I know what you are. A long time ago, I used to have recurring kidney infections, and they were like bad. They came out of nowhere, would land me in the hospital. Doctors were confused. I was naturally like allergic to most of the medication. And then there were two things that happened. I started going to a chiropractor where we could literally, because I was in tune with my body before I even knew, before I was this version of me. There was an intuitiveness where I would be like, oh, I think one's coming. And I would go and see her, and we would be able to realign me in a way that would like cut it off before it had to fully manifest. But it wasn't until it was the first time I saw an energy healer. A friend of mine was practicing, a new practitioner, and she was like, let me work on you. I need some people to practice this new technique on. And I spent 3 hours in her room, and I came out, and that was it. It was over because we got to the root of it. And my point with the devil card here is the kidney is fear. The emotion correlated to it in Chinese medicine is fear. And fear and excitement feel the same. So when we move into this space where whether you're like 100% aware, although if you're watching this, you have an awareness, we all feel it. And it'll either present as anxiety or excitement but the body kind of doesn't understand the difference between those two until we can really start weeding out fear. And then it can be, butterflies instead of like, oh my God. But what would happen was there was a few times after that big healing that it would try again. It would try to be my little protector. It would try to, and I would actually go, we talked about this. You don't have to do this. You are a kidney. You could filter blood. And that's a great job to have because it's important. And let me worry about, let me not worry about, you know what I mean? This is cool. We're excited. If I was performing and I would be excited, it would think it was, this is scary. I feel the scary thing. So yeah. So what I'm saying is use this first week in January to create a narrative with your fears, like you're talking kind of to a small child, and be like, hey, what's going on here? No, that's okay. I get where you're coming from, but look, it's like we have a blind cat, and you never know what's gonna set him off into a scary, because he's hearing and he's sensing and he's feeling and he's smelling, and sometimes things will happen simultaneously. Like 2 noises will happen and he won't be able to discern what they are simultaneously, and that's it. He's like under the couch or he's freaked out, and he's, I have to call him over, Archie, and then the sound of my voice usually soothes him. His little tail goes up. But it's you have to kind of like talk to it in that sweet voice. Talk to yourself in that sweet voice and let yourself know it's okay to have the fears, but they're not helpful moving forward. And also they are the illusion. If this whole thing is an illusion, why not get rid of the unhelpful part of it so that we can puff a smoke, puff a smoke, puff a smoke, and then we walk into the clearing of the new life. That 7 of Pentacles along with the moon, there's more that's going to be revealed. And I think this is leading into that intention. As you kind of clear that out, the clouds part, in Tai Chi, there's a beautiful movement where you do go in and you part the clouds and you push them away and you let in the light. And I feel like that's what the first week is. And if you're discouraged by, I've always done, every time I do this, nothing comes of it. Like all the work put in and nothing to show for, or the work just seems daunting. One step at a time, because these seeds have been planted so long ago. And I feel like for most of us, many times over, they're gonna grow. The work is gonna pay off. Work always does pay off. So, but work does require integration. There's a push-pull there where you do a little, you let it sit. You do a little, you let it sit. And that's how you can grow exponentially in a way where you retain the work instead of it collapsing under itself because you're pushing. So yeah, don't be discouraged in the first week. Second week, we have this 5 of Cups upside down. It's like the saddest card. The Strength card. And then we have the 7 of Cups upside down. So what this says is, hey, it is time. Much like the other week, it's like we start off with something that's like a, hey, here's another thing that you could get rid of. So we're softening fears into curiosity, and any wound, any betrayal, whether it's you feel like it's you betraying yourself, or places and times that you've betrayed yourself, or it's you've been betrayed by others. We all have. Again, when you start to look at it through the healed lens, you see souls who came together for the expressed purpose of bringing to light the shadows that were hidden so that you can fine tune your frequency to settle in to this higher octave spectrum in a way that's sustainable. So it's like you want to kind of thank them for showing up in the way that they did, in the way that you needed, in the way that your souls went, our souls raised their hands like, all right, fine, you need a jerk here, I'll do it. I'll drift in, I'll do it, I'll play the role. It's gonna suck, but Oh, we'll laugh in the ethers. Maybe. But it's in kind of when you take the power back in this magician year, that you are the magician, you are the creator, and see that everything is born of resonance. And it doesn't mean that like, oh, I must be a bad person if I attracted a bad person. No, it means there's a wounding frequency still in you, and some of those wounding frequencies came from other soul incarnations and rolled up back into the physical makeup now as a frequency, because this is a lifetime for all of us right now, ready or not, of cleaning all of that up so we can begin anew in this golden age, in this new earth experience. So yeah, and the strength card is just simply saying like it's the quiet strength. There is no more forcing, there is no more pushing and pulling. A lot of these, if you're having trouble with the betrayal piece, set the intention that you can have these conversations higher self to higher self in meditation, in a journaling exercise. Get the feelings, get the emotions out of you so that they aren't in you anymore. And that's where your intentions will have room to kind of settle down deeper and root in more truly. So you can heal a lot on the etheric plane, in the energetic field, in the quantum field, with that powerful intention. And so it looks like that second week, that may be the best use of it, is that yes, have the intentions for what it is you want to create, but you're gonna need to make space for it. Otherwise, you could wind up in the overwhelm, which that 7 of Cups upside down is that. It's anxiety and overwhelm. It's too much. There's too many choices. There's too many decisions. Well, it's time to whittle it down. And the best way to do that is to make space. What aren't you? It's like when you go through your closet and you still keep something. Oh, but I might have you in the past 2 years. Then you're not gonna. Like, you know what I mean? Some stuff just needs to be let go and passed on so that you have space for the cool new stuff you want to bring in. The other part of that is having the strength and the courage to let go of whatever isn't for right now. That's what I'm hearing. Whatever isn't for right now. And nothing is forever. It's all ephemeral. So it may be that something that you love isn't for right now. It doesn't mean it's not ever. But if it's something that's in the way of the bigger intention, the new intention rooting in, then it has to, this is what we want to do. Coming into the coming apart, the first card, which I love coming out of the coming apart, is the coming apart. If you let it happen, it's leading you right into victory. Underneath that is the Emperor upside down. So it's still going to feel a little bit wobbly, like, wait, okay, I'm riding into what though? It's new, there's nothing here, it's a single sprout, or it's, just we're just laying the foundation new, and that's okay. And it's very important that we take responsibility. These things aren't going to create themselves. And they often manifest in ways that are unexpected. They don't come exactly as we envision them. So it's important when we're doing this kind of, if you're a vision boardy people, or if you are, intention, you like to start the new year and you like to write all that down, do it from a place of feeling. Feel yourself in the end result. Like, what is it that you want to feel? Like, I want to write this show and complete the soundtrack, and I want to perform it, for people. So what is that? Focus on the feeling of that completion, as opposed to the actual form it takes place in. Like, it's got to be done by this time, and it has to be done by this people in this way, and I want to do it in this. That's how you're gonna end up missing what's actually being offered. And there will be offerings. There will be offerings, many offerings this whole year, but there'll be little ones in the beginning of the year. But if we're only looking for a specific thing, we're going to miss them. It also too can be like, it kind of lines up along a diagonal with that Seven of Pentacles, like, don't be a brat about it. Sometimes that Four of Cups is like, why is it hard? I don't want to be, like, it's just that kind of whiny, bratty vibe. And this is not a time to be whiny and bratty. This is a time to be like, okay, this is a lot. I wish I didn't have to do it. But if I don't do it, if I'm not the living example of my truth and what I'm creating, then how can I attract the help or the things that make it easier, that help it unfold and open up? Moving into new life, I had a feeling he'd show up. The Magician is here. So coming out of the end of January, we do have that energy beginning to work for us. We're moving out of this indecision. That Magician is very much coming to life. It's like, okay, this is it. We're doing it. We've made some decisions. We're owning our power. We're going to wave our wands, whether they're pens or paintbrushes or, keyboards or our own two hands and our own 2 feet, like whatever it is, our minds, we're wielding the power. The important thing to remember, though, is that anything that you wish, and it's funny that I said that this card here, upside down, felt like this card upside down, and here they both showed up together, one at the top of the month and one at the very bottom of the month. So it's going to be very important. We all know now thoughts becomes things. We all know that energy follows thought into form. This is like science. You go to any quantum-y page and they show you how, once there's an observer in the equation, things shift into the expected trajectory. So we need to make sure that we are intending, releasing expectations, but opening into that kind of exaltation. They love to fly like straight for the mouth. So that Nine of Cups upside down is saying it's not underneath the Magician. It's like, it's not that it hasn't come true. It's that it's in process. It's in progress. You're only newly taking these first steps. So you don't want to self-sabotage right out of the gate. Like these things, these bigger dreams, this massive shift in the collective consciousness, this is like when you take a giant ship and you're like, all right, we're going to turn, but you don't just flip the ship. You cause tidal waves, it could tip over, people fall out, you get seasick. Like it's too big of a ship to make that big of a turn that quickly. So you're moving. You're making the wider turn. So you have to trust in your own trajectory, but more importantly, you have to believe in it. That's going to be very important. We are what we believe. I mean, that's the truest truth. So be mindful of where you're putting your energy and where your belief, and choose you. Choose you in every possible way. All right, we're going to close this pupper up. I don't know if you guys can see, but I have a little huggy bear. I have a little huggy bear seeping over here. I just woke him up to pet him because he's so cute. He's so cute. He was our buddy. He was our buddy today. Hi, Leedy. We got these little window seats. They like hook right on. No nailing, no nothing. And it's the best thing ever. And I have to say, they all share it pretty well. Right? Archie had it yesterday. Boo Boo has it today. Pablo had it for most of that week at a time. He lived in it. They're good boys. All right. So we're going to, oh, is it coming right out? Is this it? Yeah, this is it. All right. So this is what we have to remember. Actually, I'm going to take both of them. Bob Ross. Yes. He's the man. We just show you how. So for the month of January, we just show you how, but you make the decisions. When you have this much power, you have to make big decisions. Boy, isn't that perfect. With the Three of Cups as the correlation, and that is celebration and joy. Celebrate the journey taken thus far. Celebrate the path. Look back, and instead of going, you know, as we get older, or more evolved, we can look back and go, oh my God, what have I done with my life? But it's important to shift that into, oh my God, look what I've done with my life. Huge difference, huge difference. All roads matter. All roads are valid. Anything that brings you to this now moment right here, which is so powerful, has value. So don't discount that. If you're here breathing air and walking on this earth at this time, you're doing your part to add to the harmonic collective frequency tone that is ultimately elevating this whole planet and everyone on it. So yeah, we show you how. So take in from trusted sources. Again, the age of the guru is over. So take it in, kind of like Italians take it in with recipes. Oh, that looks good. Oh, that resonates. Oh, that would be yummy. But you know what? If I took this, this, and this and put it all together in here, so good. Mwah. So this is what you want to do. Like, take in what resonates and let the rest go so that you now cultivate your point of power from your truth. And then the one that I'm going to also bring forward, because it was on the bottom, is look around. Look at what we have. Beauty is everywhere. You only have to look to see it. It's one of my favorite paintings behind it, the waterfall. Waterfalls are abundance. Their flow. But it's that Five of Pentacles. So lack is an illusion best let go of. You know what I mean? If you're gonna create in this illusory matrix, why not create from the place of joy, from the place of abundance? But you just have to look to see it. And that's kind of the message of January, is make your decisions, step into your power, and choose to see the light. And again, we're not talking about spiritually bypassing. We're talking about taking it all in through the lens of love and acceptance, knowing that every truth is real, every truth is valid, and then knowing what your truth is inside of that or outside of that, embodying it, emanating it, radiating it, stepping so fully into it that it simply is a frequency that is met in kind. And start choosing to see the points of light in everything around you. So if you always, and we've talked about this before, if you see somebody and it's like a problem, you know, dude's a problem at work or dude's a problem wherever, maybe the gift is in looking at it through a different lens and pointing out where he's not a problem so that that can come forth. And that will be reflected back to you. If you're choosing to see where he's not a problem, oh man, you're really good at this. Or, oh man, it's so cool how you whatever. Then when that person is in your frequency field, he feels good. He feels better because he's being seen as his light, as his truth, as the love frequency that's at the center of his center, as at his soul being. And so you create this. And then maybe that ripples out in that he leans into that a little more. You know what I mean? These are the examples. And I'm not saying that you have to actively seek out discordant frequencies to be like this angel of mercy. That's not the right word, but I think you know what I mean. I think that it just means when you find yourself in situations, instead of doing the knee-jerk thing, take that pause. Tilt your head like a puppy watching TV. See it through curiosity. Soften your gaze That strength card is your inner strength, the quiet strength, the strength that's rooted in the frequency of love. Real truth needs no explanation. So when you just are it, there's no threat there. It simply is, and it's rooted in love, and so it will be met in kind. That's it. The age of needing protection and the pushing away is coming to an end. So the sooner you can hold yourself in your own safekeeping through, by, within, and as the frequency of love, the more that ripples out and encourages others to do the same on that soft energetic plane, and we all make this subtle shift together, because the change we're headed into is rooted in the change we are capable of making as individuals, unique individuals, seeking to elevate into a higher octave frequency of experience and expression as the one and as the one. All right, so hope that's helpful. I'm gonna try and post a little more this month. Come back with a Friday Night Light, and yeah, we'll see. It's a new year. I'm gonna make some new habits and new choices of my own. So thank you for being here. If you like this content, please like it, subscribe. Yeah, let's keep amplifying these little communities, these little pockets of light, so that they become fatter frequency bands that help elevate the whole of the collective simply by our being here and choosing to be here together. All right, have a beautiful month.